Hey guys, today we're going to make a small book and we're going to use these as your covers. If you haven't done these, that's fine. You can use another piece of paper. It can be decorative, it can be plain, but I'm going to use these. And it's a book that is called a Meander book. So this is one that I just folded already, but I'm going to show you how to do this. And it's got a little bit of an odd way of opening and closing, but you'll see why in just a few minutes. Then it opens this way, opens this way, opens this way, and it opens that way. But if you lay the whole thing out, it actually becomes one piece. So you can see it all as one illustration, or you could see it as a journey. This is the front page. Is that the front page? Yes, front. It can go all the way around like this on a path. You can draw one big picture on this and then have it folded up and add to each part so that you'll have sort of a surprise at the end. It's kind of up to you about how you fill this book, but I'm going to show you how to make it. So you're going to need 2 pieces of regular paper. You will need some scissors. You will need, for the covers, you'll need a little cardboard. I'm just using a cereal box again. I glued 2 halves of a cereal box together to make it a little thicker, but you can just use one. You only need half a sheet of this to make each cover, and I think I'm going to do them both out of this piece, although I could take half out of this and half out of this, but I think I'm going to do it that way. And you will need some scissors and a little bit of tape. Okay, so let me show you how to do this. The first thing is you're going to want to fold your 2 pieces of printer paper in half lengthwise. And then each one of these you're going to want to fold in thirds. Now, there's a couple ways that you can do that. You can just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be exact. And when I'm folding something in thirds, I want it, when I'm folding it over, these 2 have to look like they're equal. And then you know that it's pretty much the same. Or if you want to measure, you can. It's going to be 3 5/8 plus a little smidgen. So it's about there. And then you can fold this over to that mark. And then you can fold, well, let's see, the easiest way I think is to fold this back to the edge, and then you should have it in thirds, like that. Okay, then I'll do the same with the other one. I'll mark it again, it's 3 5/8 plus a little bit more, because you have 1/8 of an inch extra, so you need to cut that 1/8 of an inch into 3. But as I said, it's okay if it's approximate. Okay. Now I'm going to open up. Some of these folds we're going to fold back on themselves. So the first thing I'm going to do is put these side by side. And these 2 top pieces here, the middle 2 top pieces, I'm going to tape those together. You can use, it's nice if you have a whole long piece of tape. Sometimes when I have to do this, I just put 2 little pieces of tape first, top and bottom, and then I'll take another piece to fill in the middle. Okay, now we want to fold that back on itself. So I'm going to fold it back so that the tape will be in the back. Oh, I'm sorry. Now we're going to cut. So we want to cut, here's the cut in the middle. These 2, I'm going to cut these 2 squares up to the last squares there. So I'm going to turn it around. And cut on this fold. Okay, now I'm going to fold the tape part. I'm going to fold that back on itself. So that'll be my first fold. Now you want to fold this book up. So this is going to go here. This will fold, let's see, fold here. This will fold forward to here. This will fold back to here. This is going to fold back on itself. This will fold here. This will fold here. Okay, and there I have my little book. Let me make sure that all the folds are right. This folds to here. This folds open like that. This folds to here. Folds there. This can fold back here. It's a little bit complicated, but I don't think you can misfold this. We'll see. Okay, now I always like to write front and back so I don't get confused. And that way I also know that I'm going to be covering this up, so I don't want to think about these as front and back. Okay, now I want to cut my front and back cover. And this again does not have to be exact. You want it to be a little bit bigger than the book. So let's see, I want to make sure I have enough room for 2 of these here and here. Not quite. I think I'll have to go over a little bit. All right, so I want to just draw a slightly bigger line around the whole cover. And this is not, you can actually neaten this up with a ruler if you want to do that. You don't have to, but it is important that your 2 covers are the same. So however you cut them, you'll cut one and then put it on the cardboard and cut the other one so that you have a nice sandwich. When you're done, the front and back cover will be the same. Okay, so I'll cut that out and then I'll hold it against my other piece of cardboard to cut the second half. I could trace this and cut it that way. All right, clean that up for a sec. Now, did I mention you'll need a little glue? You'll need a little glue. Glue stick is the best for this. You can use Elmer's if you don't have any. So I already said that I'm going to use one of these, so I'll fold it in half and cut that. It's easier to see the fold on the back. This does not have to be exact. Okay. Now, I might want to think about where I want my cover to show up. If I hold it up to a window, well, you can sort of see that. I can see a little bit where the shadow of my cover is, so I can move it around until I see something I really like. And you want to have at least a ½ of an inch all the way around, so you can't move it all the way to the edge like that. You need to have at least that much that you can fold over. So unfortunately, I'm going to lose that little bit, but that's the way the circle goes. All right, now I might want to trace that. so that I know where I'm going to glue it. Again, you don't have to do that. And now I'm going to glue all over this cardstock. I want to make sure that I have a really good even layer of glue. Only move your glue stick up 1/8 of an inch so you don't get glue all over the place. You don't want to have any bare spots on your cardboard because then you'll have a little bubble of paper where it won't glue down to the cover, which might drive you crazy. All right, so this is I'm just gonna turn that right over and put it right in my square that I drew. Now I want to rub this side a little bit, even out that. Now I don't need all of this. I could cut this off and use that for a scrap. Okay, I'm going to cut my, now I'm going to cut my corners a little bit. I just did that automatically. So when you want to take out a little bit of the bulk of the paper there, you do not want to cut right next to the cardboard. You want to leave about 1/4 of an inch. And you want to just trim them like this. Okay, and then I always glue the cardboard, not the paper, because if I glue the paper, I'm going to get glue on the table. And this way, it doesn't have to be exact. It can be a little bit bigger than the width of the paper that I'm folding over. I want to fold that nice and tightly around my cardstock. And I like to do opposite sides. Again, fold that nice and tightly around the cardstock. If you don't get your paper right against the cardstock, then it can be a little bit weak area. Now, I have fingernails. I like to fold just this little tiny triangle there. Then I know that this fold will be slightly neater. Some people don't have fingernails. You can use a bone folder too, but a lot of us don't have bone folders, and this works much faster. Again, I'm pulling this nice and tightly around my cardstock, or I should say cardboard. Again, little fold there and there. And pull this nice and tight. All right, now there's a little bit of glue in here, so I want to be careful. I don't want to turn that over, but there I have one of my covers. I don't know which is going to be the front and which is going to be the back yet. I will see when I have them both done and make a decision about that. Okay, again, I'm going to put that in that area. Okay, I'll try to do this a little bit faster, but it helps sometimes to see this done a second time. Always remember to get a nice even layer of glue. You don't want lumps, but you don't want any bare spots. Sometimes if you hold it up to the light, you can see, make sure it's shiny everywhere and that you don't see any dull places. Okay. Really helps to rub, especially because we did watercolor on these and my paper's a little wrinkly, and this will even out some of the wrinkles. Okay. And I will cut a little bit of this off. Don't need to, but might use that for something. I'm going to cut my corners, not up to the cardstock, 1/4 inch away, glue along the edge. Again, a little fold with my fingernail. All right. Now, I can take a look and see which one I think is going to be the cover. I think I'm going to use this as my cover. Okay, so again, I want to keep these gluey side up for just a minute. Now I'm going to go back to my front, and I'm going to glue all over this paper here. I want to be careful not to get any glue underneath any of my folds, because then I will be I'll be gluing my book shut. So it helps to glue off the edge. And again, I want to get a nice even layer of glue. Okay, check and make sure it's all shiny. And then I will put my cover here, and I will turn my book over, and I will put it right in the middle and give it a good press. So I want to see a little bit of that card of the illustrated paper around my whole book, like that. Okay, sometimes it helps to find this and give it a good rub. This glue really likes to be rubbed. Okay, and then I will glue on my back, again gluing off the edges. So if I glue on like this, sometimes I get a little bit of glue under there and my book will be glued shut. Okay, and then with my back, I want to sandwich this with the front cover. So even if the book is a little crooked on the inside, we have a perfect little sandwich of a book here. Okay, I might want to pick that up and rub that a little bit. Okay, we have a book. And again, this book can be unfolded all the way and turn into one big map. That might be a good thing to do with this. I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to draw a comic in here. And I think I'm going to take advantage of the fact that this book turns a little bit. So I'm going to start and then have to turn the book to see my illustrations. But I think I might want to add a path all the way through so that that will help me when I do have to do my turns. And also it's going to sort of inform what my comic will be about. But I will talk about that later. For now, you can just enjoy the fact that you have made. Did I say this book is called a Meander book? I'll let you guess why. All right. Thanks, guys.